Welcome, everybody. Ralph Havens here, Autoimmune Answers. And first of all, I want to just say thank you to everybody who's been following us the last 10 days or so, because we've sold our house. We got an offer for this house. It was a definite sign from the universe, from God, that it was time to move. We got a really good offer. And so we'd asked for that, for guidance, to say, please, God, just show us. I know you're showing us. Please just let us see this guidance, praying to God, praying to the universe. And it's interesting, Grandma Vicky T, Jen's mom, was scheduled to come visit us before all this. And she always tends to show up when we have work to do. And so she comes in with lots of prayers and lots of family prayers. And she came in, and sure enough, she was scheduled to come in, and then there we got the big offer. So, okay, we're moving. And then it's like, okay, well, now we have to find a place to live. And the Bellingham market was pretty tight, buying a house or renting a house. Not a lot of inventory, tough to find a spot, everybody says. And so there we were. And, how do you know what to do? And how do you know how to create realities, or can you create realities, or does the universe have a plan for you, or all those kind of things, and you have dreams and hopes and stuff like that. And for years, as I was doing my matrix energetics and all my techniques and all the stuff that I do to help go deep inside and clear stuff in me that's in the way of getting what we want for our family, in all those years, one of the things I do is this way to go future pace, or to tune into what it feels like to already have that. And, it's kind of like that law of attraction stuff, but the law of attraction is missing some things, I feel. And so I was using some of the other stuff too, that goes after that, after you future pace and feel what it's like to feel what you truly desire. And when I'm looking around in Vancouver, British Columbia, was always one of my spots that I just love. And I would on all of these real estate sites to look at stuff in Vancouver and look at stuff here in Bellingham. And I would see certain kinds of houses. And, when I was in San Diego, one of the things I loved about our Craftsman house, a really old Craftsman house that was done up really nice, and was that when I finished the run in the evenings and the sun was setting and it was getting dark and the lights were coming on, I would look in our house and it just felt like home. It felt like, that's where we live. It's our spot. I knew Jen was in there. Ben was in there. It's like, actually before Ben even, that's where our family was. And it just felt a certain way. And as we came up here, we had so many challenges. And part of it, I think, was we weren't following the signs. We were trying to force things. And, but then there was some miracles that showed up out of that, like getting this place and helping us transform by being up here with all the challenges. But I was always like, when I went into my space of what it would feel like having achieved what I wanted, I always felt like I had a vision of a certain kind of house, and it was usually a Kitsilano or English Bay house in Vancouver, and that feeling of a really well done Craftsman house, really well done house with lots of modern things set up for it, but in a really good way that felt really good. And so we had sold our house and got our sign from the universe, from God, that yes, you can move. It's time. And the sale went super smooth and good price. Everything was right. And then it was like, wow, time to move. So we thought, okay, let's go see what the next guidance is, right? And so we put that prayer out and said, just show us so that I can see, so that we can see. We'll do it. Just show us what it is. And our friends, in a beautiful part of town, with our really good friend and Ben's one of his best little friends, said, hey, there's a house that's coming up and it's for rent, but it's not going to be on the market yet for another week or two because we just found out about it. So we checked in with the company that was renting it, and we had it all lined up to go see it, and it was beautiful. We thought, wow, okay, this is it. This is our sign, right? Beautiful place. It looks great, great neighborhood. We had seen the neighborhood before, and we show up and there's no rental agent. And so we called, and they had rented it an hour and a half before we got there. And we're like, okay, well, I guess that definitely is a sign that's an answer. That's guidance. It's not what we wanted, we thought, but it was guidance. It's like, okay. So then we started looking, and then we found another spot in another part of town that's really beautiful, right by the Interurban Trail and the Chuckanut Mountains, and right in town in Fairhaven, and beautiful spot. Old house, definitely taken care of, but had a old carpet in part of it and a little bit of a smell. But we thought we could work with this. This is going to be perfect. The lifestyle of going to all of our favorite places, and we met the owner, and he was a really cool doctor that was doing really good stuff in the world, and his wife sounded cool, and we thought, this is it. We're gonna this is the sign. We're gonna be friends with this guy actually, and probably do work with him, we hung out in the backyard for the afternoon while he had to go back and get the keys because he had the wrong keys. And so we hung out there a long time, and I was like, wow, we could do this. This is our sign. We're going to have a great life, a great lifestyle here. And so then they didn't call back. Jen finally got a hold of him a day or two later, and they're like, well, we weren't sure if we're really renting it or if we're selling it. And we'll know in another day or two, and we'll get back to you. And we thought, wow, this seemed like a sign. But what was the deal? Like now it's like taken away. And so we thought, okay, well, we'll keep it on the back burner. Like, let us know if you're actually going to rent it because we need to go. But it was going to be a month later, and we would have to find a place to live and store all of our stuff. And it's like, that feels like too much work. Like, it's just, is this a sign that we're not supposed to get this place? So then we started looking some more, and we found more places. And I remember one place in our neighborhood close to our friends, but on a busy street, but real close to our friends, a couple blocks from a beautiful park with the trails. We found a place, and it was right amount of bedrooms. It was a good spot. It was well done house, but I walked in, and somehow the heater had been left on, even though it was a summer day, and all the windows closed up, and so she was trying to figure out, the owner, like, how to turn off this heater. It was having a hard time turning off. But thank God the heater was on, because there was this cleaning smell that was really strong in there. And I kept looking around like, I don't see where the smell's coming from. She goes, oh, they probably just clean, it'll air out. You just open up the windows. And I thought, I've seen this pattern before. And I couldn't sleep there tonight because of all these smells, these chemical smells coming up. And then later, Jen was like, oh, this would be perfect. We'd have our place. We could move in. And she was looking at me with these eyes of like, come on, Ralph, let's jump on it. Because, these things go away really, really quick here in Bellingham. And I just like, okay, we'll call you within an hour or two. We'll let you know. And we drove around, and I said, I couldn't sleep there even tonight. And I can't trust that that smell goes away. And why was the heater on with a closed up house and that smell? I think that's a sign that that's not the place. There was too much chance of like us running into more toxicity stuff. So that was that. And then we found a place that our friends that live in that same area, he was working so hard to find us a place because he really wants us to be in town. And they had actually offered us a place to stay in their house, just stay in their house in the other bedroom and store your stuff for a month or two. And we thought, well, we could do that. That's a lot of work, and two little dudes getting ready for school at the same time with all that commotion and one kitchen. But he found this other place, and it was a townhouse, and it was right on Lake Whatcom. So the sun would rise right over that beautiful lake with the mountains behind it, and this beautiful townhouse with big doors and totally redone, and nice hardwood floors put in, and the parts that did have carpet were really good and just looked beautiful. And we thought, oh my God, this will be like a vacation. And but we thought, wow, but there's a lake. Our two little dudes, they're going to have to wear life vests every time they go out in the backyard area. There's no fence. It's on somewhat of a busy street, or close to one. And we thought, well, we can do it. It'll be like a vacation. But I kept thinking, man, if those guys run out when we're on the phone, or we don't see them one time and they're in that lake. But we thought that's going to be the spot. It'll be the spot. So we called her, and she said, well, I actually rented it the night before, the very day it went on the market. The next that within an hour or so, she got an offer and she took it. But he hadn't put in his money in, and hadn't put it in his credit report yet. So she said, well, I'll know by Friday. And we're like, okay, let us know, because we'll take it right now on the spot. pay extra money to be in there. And so that was going on. And then there was a house that I had scheduled for yesterday to see, and but because she was going to be out of town for a couple of days. So I'm telling you this because it's like I feel like we were guided, but we got a lot of answers that seemed to be no, 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 not that one, not that one. So we got this one, and it was a few blocks away from a not so good street where some of the seedy stuff starts, happens. Bellingham doesn't have much seedy stuff, but one part that's a little bit iffy, and a few blocks up from that. But the day before, I thought, you know what, I'm going to drive up there and go over the hill the other way, and it was beautiful. Like to go over the other way, instantly you're like in a beautiful spot by the Arboretum trails and close to the co-op, and oh, this could be good. So I showed Jen, and she's like, yeah, that's cool. So we kept the appointment to go see this place yesterday, and we walked in, and that morning, our little Baden, 2 years old, Grandma T had taught him how to shake hands, and then we were at the co-op getting ready to go we were having our dinner, and we are going to go see the place at 6:45 last night, and Baden was asking for water, and Jen said, hey, don't put any food in the water, because he had been doing that. This is for drinking. And she said, do you want to shake on it? So he shook on it, little Baden, 2 years old. So we walk in, and I didn't see it, but I guess this is what happened, because the woman that owned the house later said, yeah, I've never had a 2-year-old shake my hand. So Baden went in there and shook her hand, and we loved her. We loved her house. It was amazing. It was every dream I've ever wanted in a house. And afterwards, she said, well, I'm gonna have to check everything. There's another guy that's ahead of you. But he hasn't actually seen the house, but he did put in a credit report. And so I'll let you know. I'll let you know in a couple of days. And we thought, oh God, you don't want to be invested in stuff, but we sure thought, oh, please, please. So we went for a walk in the neighborhood, and it's beautiful, beautiful, right next to trails, right next to where we could pop down and be at the co-op and at Boulevard Park and the Bay and everything. And we're like, okay, we just got to let it go. We got to let it go and just trust, trust. Is this another sign? Another no? But we were driving back to the mountain and about to lose cell phone coverage, and because that's how it is out there here at the mountain. And we got a text that, I want you guys to sleep. You guys are in if you want it. And we're like, thank God. Thank God. And this morning, as I was doing all my meditation and Qigong and everything else I do, I realized, I had been, as I do my work, some of the stuff I've shown you of how to tune into that feeling of having what you want, and then going and doing the work. As I was doing that, I realized, wow, I don't have to go dream up a different scenario like Vancouver or a certain house that I don't have or a certain way to live that I don't have yet. I'm going to get to live there. I get to live in my dream place. So, and then a whole plan of how this next year can look for us showed up for me and my work. I won't have to be driving 20 hours a month back and forth to the mountain. And all these other things came up like, oh, so then it was, thank you, God, universe, for guiding me and also for me seeing it. Because all those other obstacles where we didn't get it, were actually really good answers, right? Really good answers. And I was being guided, and this time we didn't push our way through it. So last time we just kept ignoring the answers and just forced our way through it. But then this place became a transformation place. So for you, what's your ideal scene? What do you really want, and why do you want it? And is the why big enough? Is the why big enough? And when you check in and ask for guidance, maybe you are getting the guidance. And maybe if you could be gentle on yourself. It's hard to be gentle on yourself when you want something really bad, right? But at least to kind of tune into noticing when you get the yeses, noticing when you get the no, not that one. And then being, of course, thankful for all of the answers and asking for that guidance of like, please let me see it. Let me just see it. If you're the kind of person that when you see the guidance, you'll do it, that's a big thing. I think that's a big thing. Because so many times it's easy to see the guidance and know what your heart really wants, and then settle for something else, not do it, not do the plan, not go the direction that the universe or God shows us. So it's kind of a funny thing. And I've told you before about, like, checking inside and feeling inside. And, it's kind of like, if you don't know, when you know, you really do know. KNOW. Now go ahead and, check out how that feels. And let me know what your dreams are, what your hopes are, what the ideal life would be like, what it would do for you, why you want it. And, let me know how you're being guided. And my suggestion would be to be gentle on yourself. It's hard to be gentle on yourself, but be gentle and keep doing what you're doing to tune into that guidance. And let me know how it's going. And if you want any of my help, let me know. And there's lots of ways that we can do that with you. So hope you find this. I hope you're well. And my hope is that you get out there and live. You really live your life. All right, everybody. Signing off. I'll send pictures as soon as we get in.